Everybody's had a chance to go over the minutes? Got a first by legislator Hall, second by legislator Walpole. All in favor?
Aye.
I thought it was wallpaper.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful, isn't it? Pretty much. Okay, excellent. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to resolutions and motions.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to move as a block GC4 through HS8.
HS8. So for the record, it's GC4, GC7, PS1, 2, and 3, HS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8.
That's correct.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Dave? Question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
You're good with that?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to HS9.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table this as we have some information that is still coming in.
Okay, we have no information on it, so we're going to table HS9 for the time being. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. EP3, resolution authorizing budget modification, planning, community development, additional hours to implement various grant programs.
I'll move it.
That's first by legislator Lockwood, second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. EP4, resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Community Development Planning Office to finalize capital project number 95 payments. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. We have walk-on resolution here for EP6. Resolution authorizing budget modification, mobility management. This is something we set up last month. We need to give them a budget.
Like to move it?
I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. On to HE1, resolution to accept public health infrastructure funding from Health Research, Inc., New York State Department of Health. First by legislator Walpole,
I'll second it.
second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. HE2, resolution authorizing budget modification to increase authorization level of capital project number 134, Silk Road Action. First by legislator Halls,
I'll
second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. HE3, resolution to reclassify public health nurse to senior program health specialist. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. Infrastructure Facilities Technology Committee, yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry.
Another one.
Yeah, thank you. We also have a walk-on resolution for health, HE4. Resolution authorizing budgetary modification to use unappropriated fund balance for capital project number 0623, Shad Slade Field Station. This has been brought to our attention. We need to make some modifications to upgrade field station upgrades. Wildlife management. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. IT1, resolution authorizing reclassification of two positions and create a new position, buildings and grounds.
Move it.
First by legislator Walpole. Second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. IT2, resolution awarding professional services contract, STD's SWIP, MSGP permit update.
Move it.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. And F&P. Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one part-time position in the Human Resources Department.
I'll move it.
First by legislator Lockwood, second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. FP2, resolution awarding professional services contract, RFP 23HR-001 compensation study.
I'll move it.
First by legislator Lockwood, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. FP3, resolution amending the sexual harassment policy for the county of Oswego. First by legislator Holst, second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. FP4, resolution pursuant to section 206 county law changing legislative office building hours for June, July, and August, summer hours.
I'll move it.
First by legislator Lockwood, second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. Resolution adopting an investment policy and designated banks and depositories of county funds. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Kevin, for putting all that together for us. FP6, resolution relative to a home rule request. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. FP7, resolution amending the management compensation plan. This needs to be amended here on the floor.
Make the motion.
Okay, got a motion to amend. Bear with me, please.
Just gonna add these
I got it.
steps.
Yeah, we did do, we have to do the steps and changes according. So with this amendment, look at the legislature, grade SG 50, step 3, director of emergency management, SG 50, step 2.
Emergency management.
No, I'm sorry. I made that. Director of emergency management, grade 60,
Step now.
step 9. Fire coordinator, step 50. Or grade 50, step 2, I'm sorry. Director of Veteran Services, grade 50, step 2. Did I get that all right? Did I say that all right? Okay.
That's what you told me.
We can read
Step
it.
3. I had step 3.
Oh, step 3, I'm sorry.
Which one's step 3, I'm sorry?
Director of Veteran Services,
It's 16 machine, that's on that.
no, I was right the first time.
I have written here, legislature, step 3.
Fire, that's 2.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Fire and Veteran Services, step 2,
Clerk of the legislature, step
step
3.
3. And the only grade change is the fire coordinator at a step, or the only step change is the fire coordinator at
The only grade change.
grade
is
change.
EMO.
is EMO.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The grade change is EMO at a 60 at a step 9.
Yes.
Okay. You got that all straight?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good.
Okay.
can't give them
So-
some numbers.
I was breaking down fast before I turned it all straightened out. So,
Move is amended.
first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries as amended to the correct grades and steps. I'm gonna leave it at that. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a little bit to get through. Okay, let's see. We tabled 9. We tabled number 9.
So you have the request to set salary.
Correct. So we have some requests to set salary. Yeah. But we tabled that.
Okay, so you'd have to take the same action on that.
Right. Okay. So we have a request to set the salary for a public defender, investigator.
So those are tied to, are they,
I thought all three of those were tied to,
to the reclassification?
The first two are public defenders.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, what? We'll just get you information from the state.
What?
On what they're requesting salaries to be.
Oh, you're thinking the assigned council rates? Yeah,
that's-
they're
that's
increasing the
different.
assigned, that's different.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah.
These are for the ones that were.
These are this is a request to set salary for an investigator and for a secretary of the public defender's office.
Okay.
Right.
So they're not affected by assigned council rates.
Okay.
Okay. So this has nothing to do with the other one, which we have to wait till we get the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. All right.
Right here.
Yeah. So the request to set the salary for public defender investigator, 63,569, management plan SG 40, step 10.
I'll move it.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, you got that all straight.
Request to set salary public defender secretary, 56,837, management plan SG 30, step 14.
Move it.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. And for the set salary, senior social services attorney, we tabled that, so we will table this to coincide with that.
You still need to vote. You still need to vote.
Yes, yes, we will table this.
I'll make a motion to table
Table
this.
first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Lockwood. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. On to reporting departments. Personnel.
Hi. I've got our total savings to date, it looks like it's as of April 16th, is $3,032,792.55. Just going through exams as usual, we're doing lots of career fairs. Seems like every other week now, actually 3 weeks in a row we'll be having one this month, so doing our best to garner interest.
I've been actually emailing them out to the
Oh, good.
clerks. When I received the exam notices, I sent them out to the clerks.
Thank you.
Try to get more interest.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Anything in the department you can go over?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Mr. Church?
Yes, I handed out to you 2 items. The first is some new, I haven't had a chance to read through it yet, but as you heard, the state budget is passed. They have a nice quick rundown on the impact to counties. 2 of the major ones that are going to hit us hard is although the Senate and the Assembly refused to include in their version of the bill the governor's proposal to take back all federal Medicaid assistance from the counties. They apparently worked out a deal at the end where the state is going to take our FMAP money in a phased approach over 3 years. We don't have those figures yet, but again, this federal money was intended to assist counties with their budgets to cover the costs of Medicaid. It's been in place for 20 years. The last 6 or 7 years, the state has not given us the last 20% of it. They've been keeping it, and they've made 2 decisions. They're still going to keep it and not give it to us. That's about $8 million of our fund balance. That's counted in our fund balance. It's gone, in my estimation. The other is apparently over 3 years. We're going to have a statewide NISAC meeting by Zoom Monday to go over these in detail. But it looks like they're going to phase in that pullback over 3-4 years. So it's still going to hit us. So it's about a $3.1 million increase in our tax levy by the time they take it all back, whether it's all in 1 year or in 3 years. The other is there's no sales tax permanency. That was rejected. That's why we had to do the home rule request today. And they're not doing it for 3 years, not renewing that sales tax 1% for 3 years. They'll only do 2. So that's what the home rule request today was about. Another large major decision that will impact our taxes is they've increased the rates for assigned counsel attorneys. And from $75 an hour to $158 an hour mandatory. They're only going to pay, the state is only going to pay 1/2 of that increase. We have to eat the rest of it. So that'll do 2 things. It's going to increase the cost of our assigned counsel program, and it's going to make it very, very difficult, and it is already difficult to hire attorneys. Sorry, timing's terrible, but so attorneys will be able to make quite a bit more money being part of an assigned counsel plan rather than working for us at the public defenders or the DAs or social services or county attorney's office. So we're going to have to sit down and think about what we pay our attorneys and what legal services what are our options. So it's not good news for us. There was a plan to scale the rate based on whether you're upstate or downstate. And there's going to be $119 for upstate counties in recognition that the rates are different upstate and downstate. But they rejected that and went with the downstate rate and imposed it on all of us. So,
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
The assigned counsel rate is like 75 now?
Yeah.
And none of that is reimbursed, correct?
Right.
So our increase really right now is like $8 an hour if it's gone up to 158.
Yeah.
that the state's gonna cover, so that's, I don't think that's a major impact to us.
But that,
Well, no.
no, that's not the impact. The major impact is the fact that we're having a hard time getting attorneys now.
Oh, no, I understand that.
That's,
Yeah, that,
it's the after
me.
effect.
we've had that discussion, right?
Yes, it's
All
the-
the attorneys in the room and.
It's the after effect that we're gonna have
Difficulty.
issues with.
You know, we spend a couple million a year, so if they're only gonna cover half that increase, you know, they're doubling, basically doubling the rate. So
No, I get that, but
it's gonna be, you know, between $500 to $800,000. It'll still come out of us.
My question goes back to, Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other legal recourse we can take from this?
There are counties that have discussed it, whether to take legal action. That would be something I'd rather discuss in an executive session rather than in public.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Move on.
Last thing, the last page of that packet is your variance report. There are two sides to it. I've been giving you variance reports based on expenses. This one includes expenses and revenues. You want to see how well this report generates revenues. Revenues are always going to lag behind, so it's a little difficult to really see any trend out of it, but I wanted to give it to you anyway. If you have any questions, we're ahead in spending this year than we were last year, but we also have more available budget. I think that's because our budget went up, plus a lot of the spending is reflected in the ARPA awards. So I'm not too concerned about it at this point. Some of this is seasonal spending that we have to do at the beginning of the year anyway. So take it home, take a look at it. There's a new column added on the far right that shows you the plus and minus per department year to date. That's it.
Yep. Appreciate it. Treasurer Gardner.
Yeah, real quick, everybody has the sales tax, we're still up 1.4 million over last year, so that's still looking halfway strong, and then the reserves are kind of staying where they've been for a while. I'm sure you'll be filling them up. But I do want to point out, I've been up in Syracuse discussing with other treasurers regards to the budget. I'll just say one thing, because God bless you, Phil, to dive in and figure all this out, but I want to say in January of 2022, the introduced budget had a $38.6 billion surplus. The current governor, executive budget baseline is a negative $22 billion. Who's making it up? So if you could, I hope Phil would never bring a budget, having money, and then I would think bringing a budget with a negative after a year of having such a great positive. So if you dive down in the weeds, it is pretty bad. So, but again, I'll let Phil, as you look through this, it's everything. It's not just one thing. It's across the board. And then separate note, in around foreclosure, it's in front of the Supreme Court. It wasn't in front of the Supreme Court last week. They're going to be deciding, when we get the opinion, but also it is still out there for the state, for the governor to do an executive signature to put it in, which means you'll probably lose 1.5 million. So,
On top of the 3.1 million that we're gonna lose.
there's a
On
chance.
top of that.
The other thing is the cost that we don't realize of having court cases. Everyone has to go in front of the court, the judge, to decide if we can foreclose. Right now it's up there for anybody disabled or elderly, automatically gets a free ride. And we're going to see where it goes. It's pretty interesting up there right now. I wanted to come back down here for a little bit and see, get some sanity. But I don't think anyone on either side or any side of the political spectrum is happy at this time. I don't think I've ever seen it like this. So, but just think about that number. Started with 38.6 billion, and now she's running a deficit of 22 billion. That's not very good budget. So, there. Well, thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks for the great news.
Thank you, Mr. Sunshine.
Sales tax report. I think.
Holly.
Well, I have good news.
Thank God. I don't know what to do.
Unlike Kevin, our purchasing card rebate program went live this week.
Fantastic. It's been a long road on that. Yeah.
So, we're pretty excited.
Okay. And that's, so you're all set up with that and,
Do our department heads know how important it is to use that so that we get money back?
Well, that's our next project, is getting departments to buy into using the purchasing system.
Okay.
It's really important that they use it.
Particularly with this card because it will return incentive payments back to us. So we can shift our regular spending through that card. The more we do, the more
Yes.
bigger check we'll get back at the end of the year.
And Legislator Greco is interested in maybe some limited use for department heads to have their own purchase card.
Mhm.
So I'm working on drafting policies that we can go through and see. But the thing that worries me is that department heads would have to follow, would have to be able to reconcile, and it would have to be done in a quick turnaround, or it would actually hurt us in the rebate program. So that's why we're drafting a policy that we can agree on, and then that will help. The more we use the card, more money we'll make.
Very good.
thank you. I like that idea. I mean, it, for all intents and purposes,
Makes sense.
it makes sense. So, thank you. Okay, if nothing more, I'll entertain the appropriate motion. If nobody has anything else, is everybody good?
Okay.
I have a motion to adjourn from legislator Walpole, second from legislator Holtz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.